need someone to talk to and you don't know what to do, call us 214-4400 when you're feeling all alone and they turn their back on you. Call us 214-4400. Call us 214-4400. Call us 214-4400. Call us.
You're listening to the Kind Counseling Podcast. Feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now back to the show.
Welcome to the Kind Counseling Podcast. It's your girl, Dania Roberts. And of course, we have another great show for you today. But we have with us the host of hosts, Cammie Roberts, aka Mr. Roberts, Dr. Cammie, Dr. Roberts, or for those who know him well, just plain old Cammie. And we also have with us today another great co-host, Big Al, joining us all the way from VA.
Yes, sir.
Once again, we are here to give insights, share information, and bring light to various topics that affect our communities at large. Kind Counseling is a mental health practice that gives hope to the hopeless through mental health empowerment and spiritual insight. Woo! As always, we have a great show for you today, and we have a really special guest. And let me introduce her to you guys before we get into it. Today, we have Miss Tomoy Nembhard. Tomoy is an HR practitioner with over 3 years of experience in the human resource development field. She is also a graduate of Bowie State University, where she obtained a master's in human resource development and a certification in project management during her tenure at the university. Similarly, Tomoy obtained 2 certificates from the University of South Florida, Muma, I think I'm saying that right, Muma College of Business, one in inclusive and ethical leadership, and the other in diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. In addition to becoming a SHRM certified professional, and we're going to get into that, Tomoy, and you're going to explain to us what SHRM is, but she holds a certificate, SHRM professional. Ms. Nembhard also attended the University of the West Indies, where she pursued a Bachelor of Science degree by obtaining a double major in accounting and management studies. Ms. Nembhard has been known by many in her home country just for her academic achievements alone, and they are many, and her stellar personality. She believes that everyone has the potential to do well. They just need a little assistance to turn their weaknesses into strengths, and we concur. Let's welcome Tomoy to the show. Welcome, Tomoy.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So happy to have you with us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be
Get
here.
right into it.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, Tomoy.
So right now, I'm an HR generalist at HR in Motion LLC. And basically what an HR generalist does is a little bit of everything in the human resource development field. So we do training, recruitment, talent development, and we just ensure that our clients are in compliance with the rules and regulations for every organization.
Okay. All right. Now you are originally from Jamaica. I'm guessing from your accent. Right?
Yes, I am a Jamaican.
All right. And proud. Right.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your story, just in terms of how did you get from from Jamaica to the US, and what were some of the circumstances involved in you coming to America?
So how I got here is someone told me about Bowie State University and the fact that they offer scholarships in the form of graduate assistantship. And that's when I decided that I wanted to leave Jamaica and pursue my master's in America. So I started working on all the different items that I will need to have in order to be in compliance with basically not only the embassy in my country, but also with I'm sorry, but also with the guidelines that the USCIS establishes for F1 students.
Okay, all right. So, were there, and I'll let you guys jump in. I'm just trying to get a foundation here. Um, I'm not too familiar with how F1 students work, but in terms of your actual life in Jamaica, what were things like difficult for you, or you just wanted to seek an educational opportunity?
It was very difficult for me. So, if you don't mind, I'll just give you a brief synopsis of my life back in Jamaica before I came here.
Sure.
So, back in Jamaica, I was living in, I would call it not the best situation. Basically, the environment was not the best. It
Mhm.
was taking a toll on my mental health. I got demotivated at times, but I never let that deter me from achieving my goals. From a very young age or a very tender age, my mom always told me that if I wanted a better life, education will be the vehicle that would take me there. So basically, where I'm coming from, I would say is like a single mother household. So even though I would say that my mom is a single mom in the environment that I was living with my extended family as well. So imagine having, let's say, a house, maybe like 5 rooms, and approximately 10 or more people live in that house. Imagine
Okay.
us, imagine an environment where like that, where you have to be basically engaging, even though they're your family members, but that's so many different personalities that you have to be engaging with on a daily basis. Some were not the best, in all honesty, and some were okay. But to be honest, I did not like my environment because I felt as if from a very tender age, I felt as if some of them were like against me based on what they kept saying about me. Even as a child, they wouldn't say the most positive things. And my mom, she didn't have a lot. So basically, I didn't have a lot of resources
Mhm.
to basically help me to get through the situation that I was in. So my mom, I love her dearly. She motivated me. She has always been there for me. There were times when I was going to university and
Mhm.
she could only afford to just give me like bus fare, and she would cook meals for me to take. So that was all bad it was for me, but I was very determined that I was not gonna let that stop me in no way, shape, or form. And I did my very best, and I was able to complete my bachelor's. And then that's when I decided that I'm gonna pursue a master's in America. Of course, I got help from different individuals who I'm extremely, extremely grateful for. And that's how I got here.
Okay. Okay.
That's
That
amazing.
journey, how long did that process take from you said you achieved your bachelor's, then you came to the States to work on your master's? How long did that process take from you I guess applying to actually coming up here? Was that a long drawn out process?
Well, no, it wasn't. Because I started applying around June, and then I got here in October. But it's a very tedious process. You have to ensure that you're following the rules down to the T, because the embassy in Jamaica, they do not play. And if you're even missing one document, they will not give you the visa. They're very strict.
Okay. Okay.
So, Tomoy, can you kind of walk us through like what kind of documentation did you need in order to come here to study, both on the Jamaican side as well as on the US side?
So first, I had to apply. So I had to get into the university first. So once I got in, I got the acceptance letter. So that's the first piece of documentation that I would need to prove that I actually got into the university. So then I would need a sponsor to prove that that person will help me financially if I'm unable to do it all on my own. I would then need to fill out what is called a CVIS, which is a Student Exchange Visitors Program application. So once I get a CVIS, then they'll give me like a tracking number, and that's one way to ensure that I'm following all the necessary procedures.
Okay.
And then you have to ensure that you have a passport, of course, because that's the only way you can travel outside of the country. You need a passport. So my process was basically getting the letter, getting all my financial documents in order, filling out the necessary forms regards to my sponsor, because I did have a sponsor.
Okay.
And I got a scholarship to come over here, which is a graduate assistantship. So I had to prove to them that I also got that to cover the costs for at least my first semester. And then I'm thinking about the other documents.
Okay.
So my passport, the CVIS, the graduate assistantship letter, my acceptance letter, and I had to prove that I graduated from the University of the West Indies, where I obtained my bachelor's.
Okay.
So this is all on the U.S. side. Did the school need to know that you had the sponsor? I'm assuming it was the school.
Yes, you have to prove to the school as well that you can afford it if you don't have a scholarship. So they will ask you for your financial documents, your bank statement to prove that you actually have the amount that is needed to start the semester.
Okay, okay. And what does Jamaica require?
It's the same. You need to prove that you can afford it. You need to have the acceptance letter. You need to ensure that you complete your CVs. You need to pay for the visa process. That's a major thing. You have to pay. You have to ensure that you complete your bachelor's, have proof that you have completed your bachelor's, and you have to have a passport that is current. And that's basically it.
Okay. So I have a question. So now you go through the process, you come to America. Obviously, people have, very different perceptions about what America is going to be like, right? Based on what you see on TV or movies.
Yes.
What was it like for you when you finally got to America? Like, what was that like for you?
Well, I was excited, to be honest. I was excited because it was a new opportunity and it was just a change of environment for me personally. So I was very excited. But when I got here and where I was living, for the first couple of months, everything was great. And then afterwards, everything started to get basically bad. The environment started to became toxic. Like the one I was coming from in Jamaica, and I was like, I can't stay here. I can't leave one area where I thought that, it wasn't the best, and then come to America where everyone referred to as a land of opportunities and be stuck in a situation where it was as if I never left Jamaica. So that's when I decided to move from where I was previously and I went to somewhere else. And I am happy that I did that because the people that I was around initially, it took me a while to realize, but one thing I can say throughout my life is that God will reveal things to you and He will show you who is actually for you and who is not. So it might take some time, but you will eventually see it. So that's what God did for me. He revealed the person, the individuals that I was living with. He showed me that they were not good people and I needed to separate myself. And it hurt. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it didn't. It did because I actually had one of the person in high esteem. I held them in high esteem. I looked up to this person and I'm like, wow, you really did something like this to me. But that's just how life is. You get knocked down, you get back up stronger than before, and you learn from your experiences. So that's what I've been doing. I've been learning from every bad experience and every good experience I've ever had in my life.
So Tomoy, when you came to this country, you went to Maryland. You went straight to Maryland. Isn't that where Bowie State University is?
Yes.
Okay, so you were living in Maryland. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still living in Maryland.
Okay. Yeah.
Was the schooling any different? Like, I know you got your bachelor's in the West Indies, and then you came up here to work on your master's. Was like the schooling difficult to adapt to, or was it similar as far as how things were taught or the curriculum per se?
it was different, to be honest, because I'm so accustomed to when I was going to the University of the West Indies, which we refer to as UE. When I was going to UE, I would just go to class, sit in the lecture room, listen, leave. If an assignment is given, I ensure that I complete the assignment. At Bowie, it's a totally different thing. You have to show up, you have to participate, you have to interact with the other students in the class. And one thing I really appreciated about going to Bowie State University is that I gained hands-on experience because we had real clients with real issues that we had to solve. And it was like, as many would say, a breath of fresh air because it was something I've never experienced before. It allowed me to basically start communicating more, start voicing my opinion more instead of just staying in my little shell that I'm accustomed to. And then I would say I'm just truly grateful for the opportunity. Because even while I graduated from Bowie December 2022, and I was selected to be the valedictorian. So that was a huge, huge achievement for me, a very huge one, because I it takes so much strength, and people wouldn't even know if I don't talk, just to reach where I am. Coming from the situation I'm coming from, it took a lot of sacrifices and a lot of determination just to get here. Because imagine being in a situation where everywhere you turn, someone is saying something bad about you. Even even when you were just a child, people been saying bad things about you, and you did nothing to them, like nothing. So I would say that it was hard for me, but I never gave up. And I'm truly grateful to every person that basically stayed by my side while I was going through what I was going through. And I apologize.
No,
I
that's okay.
apologize for being teary-eyed. I apologize. It's just that when I look back at all that I've been through, I'm so grateful. And I thank God because He never left my side. He never did. And I'm truly grateful for this. I'm truly grateful for every opportunity I received. And I'm truly grateful for every individual that God placed in my life to basically encourage me. Because coming to a different country and living in a state where you don't have any family, it's not easy. It's very hard. But I never gave up. I always tell myself I'm on a mission, and that mission is to give myself and my mom a better life. And that's what I'm here for. And I'm not gonna give up.
Okay. So now you're the only member of your family in this country right now?
No, not in the country, in this state.
On this state. Okay. So what was it like for you just completely being away from your family, like being in a whole different country? Like you said, everybody is in Jamaica. So what was that like for you just being separated from them? I mean, what if you could tell us a little bit about that?
It was very hard because from I've known myself, I've always been with my mom. She's always been there for me. And then when I had to leave her, it was difficult for me because I'm like, she's my best friend. Who am I gonna talk to when I have a problem? Who am I gonna go to for advice? And like, she's not gonna be physically here. So it was very hard for me, but I call her every day. I really do. And she calls me too. Sometimes I speak to her almost like 3 times for the day because she's continually encouraging me because she knows how I've been feeling and she knows the stuff that I went through when I just got here. So she's really been there for me. And I'm truly grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tomoy, are you an only child?
No, I have an older sister.
Okay.
Well, on my mom's side, and then my dad has 5 of us, including myself.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, your determination and your perseverance is coming through. You know, I mean, we get a sense already that you've been through some stuff, but you stuck in there and you have achieved quite a lot. You
Yeah.
know,
Thank you.
an average person might have crumbled, they might have quit, they might have given up, but you have pushed through and you're still pushing through. So, there's a saying that goes, what doesn't kill you, make you stronger.
Yeah.
And you are stronger for it. And so, can you tell us a little bit about what an SHRM certified professional is?
So basically, it's a SHRM certified professional credential, and it's for individuals who perform general HR and HR related duties at work.
Okay.
So basically, it's for people in the HR field. Well, even though you might not have a bachelor's in HR, if you're interested in getting in the HR field, it's a great certification to have.
Okay. Okay.
So why did you go to the HR field? Is that something you've always been interested in?
I was just about to ask that.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't. I was initially interested in being an accountant. However, someone told me about Bowie and told me about the HR program, and I was like, okay, let me try something different. Let me be flexible in my career. And that's when I decided to pursue HR, human resource development. And I can say that I'm extremely happy with my choice. I'm very happy because where I'm working now, I'm getting the opportunity to meet so many different clients, and we're helping them to achieve their organizational goals. And I've been learning a lot, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that I've been given.
So, Tomoy, how does your past and your experiences help you with the people that you're meeting day in and day out? Because I'm sure you're meeting people from all walks of life, people with all kinds of backgrounds, nationalities, personalities. So, how has your past helped you in that area?
So my past helped me in the sense that I learned how to practice empathy greatly, maybe too great. Because I am the type of person, I've always said to myself that if I don't like something, I'm not gonna try and do it to somebody else. And one thing that my mom always said to me is that you should always treat people with respect regardless of their title, because we're all human beings and we all want to be respected. So that's how I try to live my life, and also that's what I embedded in my professional career, is to be empathetic towards people and be professional at all times, because you never know what somebody's going through. You can get up every day and you're looking so beautiful, and at home everything is going wrong and no one would know. So I think that we should try to be as kind as possible. We should try to be as understanding as possible, because we too would like to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
So life for me is about being not only empathetic, but also being courageous. Because as you said before, there are many things that's gonna come and try and keep us down, but we have to remain determined. We have to ensure that we have a goal. It's just like being in an organization. You have a mission statement, you have a vision statement. Why do you have those statements? Because it serves as a guide as to what you want to achieve in your organization. And the mission and the vision will help you to create objectives and goals so that you can develop daily activities that will help you, or even weekly or monthly activities that will help you to reach the final goal of the organization. So that's just how life is.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
So I have a question. With this new affirmative action being reversed as far as it comes to colleges, and you're an HR person, do you think that's going to trickle down into the professional field with them now reversing affirmative action? I know a lot of companies kind of use that when it's coming to hiring, making sure they have a certain amount of numbers. If this trickles into the professional field, how do you think that's going to affect you as an HR person?
When you're saying affirmative action, are you referring to the fact that they shot down the student loan bill? That's what you're referring to?
Yes. So I think
Okay.
that's just a bill. I think that's just a start. So I'm in my mind, I'm thinking this is going to now trickle into the business field as well, where companies don't have to have a certain percentage of whatever they have when it comes to hiring. Do you think that's going to be something that's going to affect you in the HR field, or no?
I think that being in the HR field, you have to be very observant of what is going on in the environment. So right now, it might not be impacting the organization greatly, but this is something that we have to ensure that we're watching and we're making the necessary arrangement that if something was to be done with regards to this bill, like totally take it off the table, 100% take it off the table, that we are prepared for it, because this makes a difference in whether or not our younger generation will be able to basically partake in higher education,
Right.
because this was the opportunity given to many who had debts and wanted them to be clear, but never basically know how it was going to be cleared. They had no idea. And nobody wants to be living in debt for the rest of their lives. No one. So that's something that also can take that can also impact your mental health, because you're not going to give 100% when you're thinking about something as drastic as owing, let's say, $50,000 to a university. That's something that will affect your daily life, because you're going to feel as if you're only working to repay this debt.
Okay. Okay. So it's obviously we have a lot of people that go to Jamaica on a regular basis for vacation, right? So
Yes.
just in terms of your plans for the future, are you planning to like stay in America, or are you gonna go back to Jamaica and do something on a grand scale? Like what's your plan and for your future?
So my plan, I would really love to live in America, and that's because of the resources available to me.
Hmm.
So I would prefer to live in America. Not saying that I'm neglecting my country. I'm not. I'm not. I love my country dearly, but in life we have to do what's best for us. It's just like an organization. The organization does what's best for them. So you have to treat yourself as an organization. You have to weigh the cost versus the benefit of every situation and make the right choices, because this is your life. You only get but one life, and you have to live it and live it to the fullest and ensure that you're making the decision that will not only impact your life positively, but those to come.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that answer.
Thank you.
So I guess just in terms of so how long have you been in the country right now?
Well, I've been in America, I would say a little bit over 3 years, just a little, maybe like 3 years and probably 2 months around that.
Wow. And you accomplished this much in 3 years?
Yes, I'm
Wow.
I'm I'm actually quite shocked sometimes when I remember it, because like when I just came here, I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, and I'm like, you've been doing well your entire life, and
Wow.
I'm not being boastful or anything, but when it came on to school, as I told you from a tender age, what my mom told me, it
Mm.
was embedded in me. Education is the key, and I stuck with that.
Mm.
I trust me when I tell you, I stuck with that.
Yeah.
And
Think you'll go on
if I
with,
think I'll go on,
with education and
well, I would like to do my doctoral degree.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm working on as well. I would love to do my doctoral degree.
okay.
Okay. So it seems like you kind of like just like got like really a narrow focus and just kind of focus on education. And I mean, were you able to enjoy like your college life here, or are you just focused on studying?
Um, I've never really enjoyed my college life. I never
Wow.
really did. Even in Jamaica, as I told you, I would go to school, I attend the classes, I go back home. I
Okay.
did not really partake in any activities that the university hosted. And I think it was just because I was just trying to remain focused, because I knew I had limited resources and I had to ensure that I'm using my resources wisely. So I think that was just my perspective. And then when I came here, when
Hmm.
I moved from the first place I was living, and I came to where I'm living right now, I just made a decision that I think I did it because I was just trying to guard myself from a lot of things. Because when
Hmm.
you go through negative situations, it's like you put up a wall because you're like, oh, I don't want this to ever happen to me again. And you're taking the necessary precautionary measures to not let it happen to you again. So I think that's what I did. When I moved from the situation I was in, I decided that I will never let that happen to me again. Never. So I didn't really enjoy my college life until maybe like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before my graduation, and that was because they were hosting different events for everyone who were graduating, and I got some awards and I wanted to go and get my award. And so basically
Wow.
that's what I
What do
did.
you do for fun, Tomoy? Tell us what you do for fun.
What I do for
Oh,
fun,
no.
I like to cook, so I cook a lot. I like to do hair, so I would do my own hair. But when I leave the state, I have my older sister. She lives in Florida, so I would go to Florida and I would visit her.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's basically what I do. It's
Okay.
not really much, but it's enough for me.
Okay.
Okay. You're not the party girl or nothing like that. Clubbing girl, nothing like that, huh?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
Got it, got it, got it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, listen, it's I mean, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, it's just really amazing that you've accomplished so much in a short time.
Thank you.
What would you say to somebody who is in a similar situation, like coming from another country and coming to a completely different environment? Like, what would you say to them just in terms of getting ahead or making a life for themselves in America? What would you say to them?
I would say to them to always remain focused. You're your biggest competitor, and that's one thing I've always liked about myself. I never compare myself to somebody else because I believe that we all have different starting in life. Your start is different from my start. So I cannot be comparing myself to you. And then if I realize that I am doing that and I'm like, oh, you're ahead of me, that's gonna do something to my mental health. That's gonna start deteriorating my mental health because I'm gonna start looking at myself as less than, and I'm not, because we were never in the same category in life. We were not given the same stars. So my advice to anyone who is basically deciding to pursue education in a different country is to remain focused. Always believe in yourself. Always pray, because we need God in everything. Because sometimes we might believe that we got it all figured out.
Mm,
We don't. We
okay.
don't. We need God in everything, and try and ensure that you have genuine people around you, because your circle can also determine what happens to you. You want to ensure that you're surrounded by people who are basically pushing you in the right direction.
Okay. All
So
right.
you want to ensure that you're also believing in yourself and believing in what you bring to the table. So that's my advice for anyone, and never give up. If you stumble, pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and keep going, because that's how life is. It's not going to end until you're dead, unfortunately. Life
Okay.
goes on.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
great advice. That is great advice, especially the
Thank you.
comparison, because I think that's what a lot of people do. They look at other people and they feel like I gotta catch up, I gotta keep up with this person. And they say comparison is the thief of contentment. And it
Yes.
really is, So that's excellent advice, and I'm sure that anybody who hears that is gonna be helped by it.
Thank you. I've always said to myself that I was never able to control how I started in life, but I'm definitely going to control how I end. That's
Mm,
something I can put my money on. I'm definitely going to control how I end.
mm,
So that's how people should try and see their life. Yes, you might not have the best start. As my brother would say, we were not born with gold spoon in our mouths.
okay.
But eventually we'll get there. If with hard work and determination, anything, and faith, anything is possible.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All
I
right.
just had one more thing.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but just one more thing that we didn't mention, and I don't know if you want to mention it or I know it may be rude, but how old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah,
I am 25 years old.
25 years
Oh
old.
wow.
That
Okay.
is amazing. Like, because the
Wow.
reason I asked you that is you told me that before, but um I don't run into a lot of 25-year-olds with with what you have accomplished and being able to speak the way you speak in this day and age is kind of a breath of fresh air. So
Yeah.
kudos for that.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Seed already firmly planted, Tomoy. So
Thank
keep
you.
doing what you're doing, and I'm sure you will see the success that you know, another level of success, I should say, because you already have success, but you'll
Thank
see
you.
another level of success, the kind that you're looking for. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And so I was thinking about, we were talking about in the beginning about the name for this podcast. I think it should be If Perseverance and Determination Were a Person.
Thank
I know,
you.
right?
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
That would be you.
Thank you.
So I got one not so serious question, right? So
Okay.
now that Usain Bolt has retired, right? Right? Is Jamaica still going to be on top of the track world?
Of course, we have Shelly and Fraser. We have Sharika Jackson.
All right, okay.
Oh no! You see, Shakari done took her wig off and cut her nails. She said she's coming.
That's okay.
She said
That's
she's
okay.
coming.
You saw the Jamaican just came out of here, right?
Right?
Remember what I told you guys? We don't focus on the competition. We don't.
All
You have
right.
to have
All
tunnel
right.
vision. Look ahead.
All right.
Jamaican.
Yes.
All right. There we go. All right. So Tomoy, do you want to add anything before we wrap up? Any words of encouragement? Anything you want about yourself? If somebody wants to contact you, anything you want to share before we go?
I think the only thing I probably have to say is that just pray. Sometimes in life, we might not have the words, but I always say God understands the tears. He does.
Yeah.
Because this is one Bible verse that I always use throughout my life. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, say the Lord, plans to give you hope and a future. And trust me when I tell you, I hold that scripture dearly to my soul because I believe that no matter what anyone tries to do to me or anyone says about me, God has the final say. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Amen. All right.
Preach it.
All right. Okay. All right. So well listen, any guys have any questions before we go?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So Tomoy, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Very inspirational.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work. And if you need to contact us for anything we can help you with, feel free to do so. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All
Then.
right.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If I ever took a loss, I learned a lesson. I won't ever think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before to come up, I ain't stressing. Baby, I'm too busy counting.